God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty?
Hello and welcome to our final session of the 2025 Astrophotography Prize judging. We're thrilled to have you join us from wherever you are across the world. We are going to be showcasing some outstanding astrophotography as we commence the live judging of the top 27 images in the remote imaging category. I'm Robyn Campbell, and together with Andy Campbell, Daniel and Nathan Bingham, we've worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring this live judging event together. The event though would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors. We'd like to extend our gratitude to our major sponsor, Celestron. Celestron have sponsored our overall winner with a Celestron Edge 9.25 HD telescope OTA, valued at $3,000 USD. There's also the Celestron Prize, and that will be going to the highest scoring image taken through a Celestron OTA, and they're going to win an Origin Intelligent Home Observatory. This thing is phenomenal. Plug it in, shoot the stars. It's just one of those incredible developments in imaging. So it's valued at $4,000 USD. Thank you so much to Celestron. We're about to judge the remote imaging category, and our runner-up will receive a store voucher from Astrography valued at $200 USD. But our first place winner is going to win a really incredible full annual subscription. Thank you so much to Deep Sky West, valued at $1,500 USD. Now, we actually have Lloyd with us this evening from Deep Sky West. Lloyd, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a bit about the prize.
Good morning. Glad to be here, and thanks for the intro. We're happy to be a sponsor. A lot of folks know about us, but we've been around for about 10 years, and the prize is your choice of any of our systems. You would get an annual subscription and collect and be entitled to all data that comes from that system. You can direct its activities and publish the images. It's all owned by you. You can do what you want to. You can make a hat if you'd like, but we're glad to be a part of this.
Absolutely amazing. It's that level of flexibility. I know here in the Southern Hemisphere, there's a few objects I sometimes hear Andy say, damn it, I just wish. So, maybe he needs to line up.
Andy, we got you back, man.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lloyd. And thank you, Deep Sky West, for coming on board. So tonight, thank you. Tonight, this is how the judging will run. It's tonight in Australia, this morning in Atlanta. We're going to be judging each of our top 27 images, and it'll be done by a live panel. So you'll get to see the scores come up. You'll know what all of our judges are thinking. They're going to give you some commentary, insights, and challenges, which is kind of fun to watch. Then, once we've judged all 27 images, our panel will deliberate offline to determine the winner from the 5 highest scoring images. Now, you'll get to find out who has won on Friday when we have our awards ceremony. It's 9 a.m. Australian time. Check out the links on the website. Come and join us. Check it out this Friday. See who has won. Very exciting. All right, so we are going to begin the judging of the category with what is called a run-through. So you're going to get to see the top 27 images in the order they're going to be judged. So have a look. Thanks so much, Daniel. How absolutely breathtaking was that? Far out. The judges certainly have a pretty decent task ahead of them tonight. So I'm going to introduce you to our judges now. So first up, we have Alyssa Pecan, who is a science visual developer at the Space Telescope Science Institute. She gets to create color images with what we think is possibly the most remote telescopes out of everyone in the room. So she gets to play with the data collected by the James Webb and Hubble telescopes. Wow, very lucky. She holds degrees in astronomy and art and design, combining her skills to produce images that are both scientifically accurate and visually compelling. Alyssa's work aims to make the universe more accessible, inspiring, and engaging for audiences worldwide. Welcome, Alyssa.
Thank you, Robyn. Happy to be here.
So good. Next up, we have Marco Lorenzi from Singapore. So Marco is an Italian astrophotographer based in Singapore, capturing planetary images locally and deep sky targets remotely from Chile. His work has been widely published, earned multiple APODs, and has won both the deep sky and robotic imaging sections in the 2021, with runner-up in the planetary category in 2023. With over 30 years of imaging experience, Marco's enduring passion exploring the night sky and vast distances between the stars. Welcome, Marco.
Hi, thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Now we welcome Mike Selby. Mike is a deep space astrophotographer with 15 years experience operating 4 remote telescopes at Observatorio El Source in Chile. His work has earned numerous APODs through NASA and runner-up position in the 2022 Galaxy category of the Royal Greenwich Astronomy of the Year competition. He was also 2023 shortlist as well. With a background in radio frequency engineering, law, and previous roles as a senior Thai government official and movie producer, Mike brings both technical expertise and really diverse experience to the judging panel. So nice to have you here, Mike.
Thanks very much. I'm very glad to be here.
We also have another Mike on the panel, Mike Sidonio. So he is from Australia. He's also known as Strong Man Mike. He's an amateur astronomer and award-winning astrophotographer with backgrounds in strength athletics. Having studied astronomy at Dickinson College and worked over a decade in the Canberra Observatory, he has contributed to astronomy research, including the discovery of a galaxy 11 million light years away. He recently completed Australia's highest astronomical observatory in the Tindri Mountains, and his work has been featured in exhibitions worldwide. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us.
Thank you.
And we have Lloyd. So Lloyd Smith, who is the founder of Deep Sky West. We welcome you back. He also judged last year, which was fantastic. And his incredible observatory that's operated out of New Mexico and Chile, and it gives astrophotographers worldwide access to dark skies with advanced equipment without having to travel. Situated at 7,400 feet near Rowe, New Mexico, his site offers ideal conditions for capturing deep sky images that are otherwise unavailable to most astrophotographers. Welcome, Lloyd.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thanks again.
Amazing. So without further ado, I now will hand things over to our panel mentor, Andy Campbell. So Andy is the competition director and renowned astrophotographer in his own right. Grandmaster of the AIPP and fellow of the NZIPP. He's past winner of the Deep Sky section of the David Malan Awards. 4-time shortlisted for the Greenwich Observatory International Astronomy of the Year, twice Australian Science Photographer of the Year, and numerous APODs through NASA. Andy will be guiding our discussion. And I think it's time to hand it over to you. Take it away. You're on mute. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Robyn, and a very warm welcome to everyone out there watching along on the live stream, wherever you are in the world. We're going to show you some of the very best and most amazing images possible. We're going to be judging the remote imaging category, and this category is intended for all photographers who use remote observatories to capture their data, whether they own the equipment or not, and yet utilize their skills and creative abilities to produce award-winning imagery of such things as deep sky objects, planetary bodies, solar system objects, star clusters, globular clusters, supernova remnants, nebulae, galaxies, comets, etc. So it must be their own data. Images derived from professional bodies such as ESA, ESO, NASA, etc. Are ineligible. There will be an entrance statement in most cases of up to 25 words to give the judges an idea of what it is that they're assessing. The judges will also be provided with all the technical data that the entrant has provided, exposure details, technical equipment, et cetera, and I'll read some of that out for the benefit of the folks at home. The system works that each judge will score each image at the same time out of 100. We'll average that score, which I'll announce. In the event that a judge is more than 5 points away from that score, they have the ability to do what we call a challenge. And that's where a debate will begin, and it gets a little bit more interesting at that point. We have finally something called the majority rule. So if 2 judges end up scoring an image at gold, but 3 judges think, you know what, this is a silver, the image will retain a silver. On the other hand, if 3 judges are given it gold and 2 are in silver, it'll get that gold. So that's how the system works as an overview. And if everyone's ready, let's get stuck in with the first image, please. So this is CTA1 Supernova Remnant G119.5 plus 10.2, the brain of Cephas. The location is Rodeo in New Mexico, United States. An Astrophysics 110 GTX with a QHY 600 pH camera, chroma filters, RGB, SHO. We're looking at 79 hours of combined integration time. Judges also have the ability to pixel peep these images. They can click on the image and bring it up to 100% so they can get right in there and check out all that background detail, nebulosity, star colors, etc., etc. Alrighty, let's get some scores in for Lloyd and Mike, please. There we are. And bingo. This image scores 87, a very, very solid silver award to get us started. Lloyd, are you happy with that score? You've got the right to challenge it if you wish.
Actually, what strikes me about this image is it's very naturalistic. And I value that because with today's capabilities, technologies, and I'm one of these people who's over aggressive, I think, and I lose some natural edge. This has that in spades. So I very much appreciate that restraint that was added here. I would like a little bit of punchiness, a little bit of contrast helps me all the time, and it gives a little bit more saturation. But this is natural, smooth, and quiet, and not jagged. So I have elevated this to a gold medal status, just because I like the naturalistic view.
Excellent. So we're going to take this on as an elective challenge. Thank you, Lloyd. And we'll throw over to Strongman Mike. You're the lowest score at 84. Can we hear from you, please, sir?
Oh, well, okay. First of all, silver's a pretty good mark. 84 is a pretty good score. There's so many amazing images in this competition. I don't think that's a bad score at all. For me, I think it looks great. It's got some lovely color. I'm looking around the outside at the dusty area, and I have just a little feeling of a slight blotchiness maybe coming out in there. Maybe a little bit more punch, as has been mentioned, is all I was looking for to perhaps move it over the line for me. But as I said, it's still an excellent image, and still 84 is a great score.
Thank you so much, Mike. Now, Alyssa, your score is 87, which is the average. What are your thoughts? Are you thinking of going up or down? What are you looking at here?
I feel like I am stuck in the middle between what Lloyd and Mike, Strong Mike, are saying, where I do think it's like a very beautiful image. There's so much integration time that went into this. So like part of me is just like just a tiny bit more, but like it's already so much. It's just beautiful. The detail, I like the natural style that Lloyd was mentioning here, where it's not going too far. But I do want to see like a little bit of more contrast. I think that punch would just send it over the edge into gold.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. Lloyd, you've got what we call right of reply. You get another bite of the cherry here.
I understand where everyone's coming from, and I'm glad you recognize what I recognize. But I think a solid silver was going to make sense here. I'm okay with it. I will fight harder on some other things, but I do really like this natural image. So I'm gonna preserve my powder a little bit, but this is great work.
Fantastic. Thank you. Lloyd, your score is locked in at 92. Everyone else is free to rescore. Oh, the silver tongue. It's gone up a point. 87. Well done. Congratulations. Next image, please. Entrance statement. I've photographed this part of the sky several times. I used a HA filter for this shot, which makes faint objects visible. It's taken in Farm Tivoli in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200 Pro camera and an ASI 12-inch 3.6 astrograph. Looking at 19 hours of exposure, HALRGB. This image is scoring 86. Very solid silver award. All right. Lloyd, what would you like
Why
to
do I do this to myself, right? No, once again, I like this image. It's one of my, it's among my favorites, and it's hard to pick a single favorite. Here's the thing. This is the framing at first caught me off guard until I understood, I think, what the imager was intending to do with the capture of the small little galaxy in the upper center of the image, which results in a little bit of a unusual framing. But I like the presentation. I like the punchiness here. The blues and the saturation might be a touch overdone, but this is my style also. So I appreciate this image quite a lot. And it shows a great diversity of things that we see in space with the glob and the galaxy and the dust. So an often captured area, but I think done in a unique way. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. These challenges always are good for education and bringing a diversity of opinions. Mike Selby, your score of 78 suggests there's some room to grow here.
I think the composition is quite well done. It's interesting. I have a few basic difficulties with the image. It's, in my view, really oversaturated, which is obscuring the detail. And this is a picture of gas, and yet too much of it looks solid to me. The red is really verging on oversaturated, and the blue needs to pull back. It's interesting to have framed the globular in the image, but the globular is also blown out, and I think more attention could have been paid to it. It's still, in my view, a very, very nice image, and has a lot of potential.
Thank you so much. Strongman Mike, you've scored this one at 88, just out of the gold range. Are you thinking of going up or down? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's one of those objects, we've seen so many versions of it, and when I find I'm looking at an image of this area, I'm looking for something to grab me. And one thing that did grab me, I have to say, was little bits of red H alpha that is, less often captured in this object. So kudos for that. The dust does look like dust. I think that's fantastic. I had a slight problem with the composition, but as has been mentioned also, I think that's probably to get in that galaxy at the top. I think it perhaps could have been framed with maybe slightly more to the left, just to bring that star on the right in. So these are very minor things. They're the little bits and pieces that you the only way we can separate some of these fantastic images. So overall, very good. I really like the detail in the dust too, in the dark section. It's not just black.
Thank you so much, Strongman Mike. Let's go back to Lloyd for your right of reply.
Yeah, I agree with the points. I think we converged on a couple of things. The framing a little bit off, but I think it was really about what we said. Saturation, punchy. I dig that personally. It may be a little bit. Who knows what reality is, but it may be a little bit much. I'm well to give silver awards where there is gold awards do not have fundamental issues. So things like composition is fundamental. So I can understand where my colleagues are coming from. And in my own my own reckoning, if it's fundamental, a star issue, something like that, then gold is not possible. But I do think that this is very well done. So I did give it the gold, but I recognize where my colleagues are coming from.
Thanks so much, Lloyd. Your score is locked in at 92.
Good.
Everyone else is free to rescore now. And the image has gone up a point to 87. Well done. Solid silver award. Next image, please. So, entrance statement: dicing for pearls. An aquasmic mammal, SH2 308, spies valuable jewels, M41, beneath the waves of the cosmic ocean. This is photographed at Deep Sky West on a Moravian C3 6100 Pro with a Takahashi FSQ 106 with a reducer. It's using fast chroma filters. We are looking at RGB and HA and O3 and a total integration time of 39.9 hours. Just one more score to come in. This image is scored 88. A very, very solid silver award. We have two judges, however, championing this one for gold. I think we should take the highest one. Alyssa, that's you.
Yes, I love the composition of this image. I feel like what the astrophotographer intended is very clear, that there's like this aquatic landscape and the dolphin is kind of pursuing the little cluster at the bottom. It just, the motion from right to left, it all just feels very organic. And I also like how it's wispy sort of in the background, but a little bit more, clear in the nebula and the cluster. So for me, it just as a whole, it just works really nicely.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Mike Selby, you've given this a good score of 82, a little lower than some of the others. Could we hear from you, please?
I think this is a very nice, solid image. SH2308 is nicely done for this scale size. The detail's good. There's a very, very bright star that was contained very well. I'm a bit uncomfortable with the palette transition. I understand that it was an attempt to show different details in the gas, but I think it is a bit on the stark side, and that's really what stopped me from scoring it higher.
Thank you so much.
Overall, it's well done.
Thank you, Mike. Marco, you're in support of this one. We haven't heard from you yet. You're into the gold with this. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so first of all, I really like the use of the colors. The color palette is a particular, and especially on the yellow part and at the beginning, I believe it's really give a punch to the full area. There is a very good control on the negative space. It's no overdone. It's still very deep, and I like the composition having M41 and the Dolphin Nebula in the same part. So overall, to me, this is a very good image of the region.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've got some support there. You've got 88s and 89s who are just hovering around there with you. So see what you can do with your right of reply.
Yes, so I understand what everyone's saying, and I understand what Michael Selby is saying about the color palette's a little bit different than what I'd normally go for. It's dark and sort of like the primary colors, but it's the framing of it is just so well done. I just love that the center point is kind of in between them. That really encourages you to explore it. And the juxtaposition of the textures, I just find it so complete. And so that's why I am hard on the gold.
Alrighty. Folks, Alyssa, your score is locked in at 92. Everyone else is free to rescore. We now have a solid gold at 90. Congratulations to the entrant. Very good. Next image, please. So this image is taken at SRO Aubrey in California on a Planewave CDK 600, a Moravian C5A 100M camera, chroma filters, HA, O3 and RGB, 23.33 hours of combined integration time. And for the benefit of the folks at home, the judges have all had a opportunity over the last 48 hours to have a good preview of these images and pixel peep them. So they're not coming in completely blind by any means. This image scores 88. Very, very solid silver award. Are we comfortable with that? Mike, do you want to take it on? Are you happy with that score?
Oh, no, I think, yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it's a beautiful image.
Scores are all very similar. So perhaps we could get a comment from you then.
Yeah, that's it certainly grabbed my eye. As soon as I saw it when I was looking at it before we started this judging, it just really caught my eye. It's right on the verge of being too saturated, but for me, it's missed that. It's just gone under, and so it looks fantastic. And I really like the teal color in the O3 around the outside. Lots of detail. A small amount of smoothness, maybe backed off on that just a tad more could have helped, but I still think it's worth a gold.
Thank you, Mike. We'll move on to the next image now. Thank you for that. This is NGC 6744. This is taken from the Tivoli Southern Sky Guest Farm in Namibia on a ZWO ASI 6200mm Pro on the ASA 16-inch RC with LRGB. We're looking at a total integration time of 11 hours, 25 minutes. And this image has almost unanimously scored 87. You guys are all of like one mind here. It's extraordinary. Well done. Who would like to comment on this one, given that your scores are almost identical?
I'm happy to comment.
Haven't heard from you, Alyssa, for a while. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I love seeing the galaxy. I think the stretch is so good. Like I think the way that the galaxy sort of doesn't have like a huge hard edge and sort of blends into the background, but you get enough of the background galaxies and stars. I really like the stretch overall. I think the only thing that I want is just H alpha just to send it over the edge for gold for me if it just had a little bit more of an accent with H alpha.
Lots of judges nodding heads in agreement with you there. Could we go to the next image, please? Entrance statement is a diving dolphin of light plunges through cosmic seas. Gemstone blue filaments trailing, waves of nebular currents carrying silent motion, beauty, tenderness, and contemplative wonder. This is photographed at Deep Sky, Chile on a Moravian G4 1600 with a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX3. Astrodon filters, TAC reducer, total integration time 95 hours. And we're straight to gold. Gold award almost unanimously with this one. Time to put on the chairman's hat and call what we call the Panel Mentors Challenge. Panel Mentors Challenge is when a great number of judges have scored straight into gold. And what we'd like to do is perhaps determine just sort of, where the score of this one really lies. So there won't be any rights of reply. I'll call on a couple of you to speak, and then everyone will be free to rescore. So in fairness to the image, we'll take the highest scorer, which in this case is a tie between Lloyd and Marco. So Lloyd, you've got this one.
Yeah, I like this one, and this provided an opportunity to compare and contrast. There's another very similar one. And the approaches, noticing the approaches is very interesting. So what I like here too, a thing that caught my attention is the control of the star. And I think laying on this object and committing it to it with the additional, with long integration time may have actually revealed some action around that star. It really caught my eye. And so it's not, there's a nebulosity that was captured around that that's very interesting. The choice of color palette is also interesting. I have sometimes a little bit of a hard time when I see SHO kind of devolved into two primary colors, but this one is has a consistency that I like. So I can't compare and contrast the two very much, but this one has some features in it that really stands out. Love the star.
Thank you, Lloyd. Mike Selby, you're just out of the gold on this one. Could we hear from you on this, please?
I think this is a wonderful image. The composition is good. I'm comfortable with the color palette. I like the positioning of the dolphin. What put me under the gold was I feel the image is pretty heavily denoised. It's overly smooth. Certain details been lost in the dolphin, and it just doesn't quite pop into gold.
Okay. Mr. Sidonio, Strongman Mike, please.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is, I think, because we've seen two in a row almost now, and sort of comparing can sort of see the differences. I think everything works in this image. That beautiful glow of the dolphin's eye just catches your attention. It really, you can really zero in on that. Wow, what is this? And then it's a beautiful glowing sphere, captures your attention again. Then your eye goes down to the lower left corner and you see this beautiful cluster. And I think that's been positioned beautifully. I actually think the smoothing in this case is actually okay. I like the fact that it looks a little bit on the smooth side, but it's not over smooth in my eye. So it's just different eyes, I guess. But I think the color works beautifully. It's well composed. Yeah, fantastic image. Congratulations to the astrophotographer.
Thank you, everybody. So as this is a panel chairperson's challenge, you are all free now to rescore this image. And Lloyd, please. Thank you so much. Image remains at 91, and we had a good chance to talk about it, and I'm sure the feedback is valuable for the entrant. Next image, please. Entrance statement, SL17 and RCW114, a 10-degree deep mosaic with continuum subtracted narrowband and LRGB revealing new structures and planetary nebula candidates. Taken at Swan Reach in South Australia on a Player One Zeus M Pro, FSQ 106 EDX4 with Antlia filters, total integration time of 93 hours, 25 minutes in LRGB HA S203. This image has gone straight to gold. Straight to gold at 90. You know what? I'm going to do it again. I think it's the only fair thing to do here, given that we have so many judges so close and in gold, in fact. Let's take Mike Selby first.
Okay. I think this is a spectacular image. It really pops. Mosaics in general are not always easy because one can get lost in them. At this scale, it makes it also hard to have detail, and yet this looks like a genuine photograph. We can see the gas tendrils, they're well displayed. The balance is good, the color flows very nicely. It's just a really nice image.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've given this a very good score, not quite as high as the others.
Yeah, I think the detail and just the time and effort that went into this is incredible. And I love that the tendrils, it's exotic because it's probably magnetic fields going on. Everything is just really interesting to look at. I think I just get a little bit lost in sort of the peachiness of it all, that I kind of lose a sense of where to look. But it's a huge effort, and I definitely understand and see why it was rated as gold.
And Marco, you're also in gold. Let's hear from you, please, sir.
Yeah, sorry. So that's definitely one of the pictures I really like. First, because it's out of the beaten path. So it's showing a lot of new details, fresh details. I like the thunderous shape of this nebula. It looks really like celestial. You know, it's a Thor which is throwing lightning all over the place of different colors. I think really the only thing I don't like of this image, and I could maybe even score a little bit higher, is I want to see additional parts on the top, on the bottom, because it really likes to desire to see more. So it's a very well done in my opinion.
Thank you, team. As this is a chairperson's challenge, you are all free to rescore this one now. Image has gone up a point to 91. Congratulations to the entrant. And I think, Marco, you're absolutely right. It's always good to leave people wanting that little bit more. Well done. Next image, please. The image here is taken at SRO in Aubrey in California on a Planewave CDK 350, ASA 6200 camera with chroma filters. Thank you, Chroma, our sponsor from the earlier category. We're looking at 24.5 hours of integration time in LRGB with HA. Strongman Mike, I don't have your score. There it is. Thank you so much. This image has scored 88, a very, very solid silver award. Guessing you want to take that one on, sir?
Well, it looks like I think it's got a little bit more of a score.
You've got some good support there with 89s and 88s
I do.
with you.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. For me, it just speaks to me as this beautiful natural shot of the universe. No tricks, no filters that change the colors from what your eye sees. This is what you get. What you see is what you get, and it's beautifully done. The execution's great. The processing is excellent. I can't see the processing. I always look to see, can I see the processing? How has this been done? In a couple of places there, I start to think maybe a little bit of smoothing, but you know what? It works. It just works. There's no overdone AI sharpening. It looks natural. It looks just a fantastic image of a beautiful piece of the universe. So that's why it got me.
All righty. Let's keep this between the two mics. Mike Selby, your score of 84.
Okay, this is a very nice image. If I were to look at some things that didn't cause me to have as high a score as Strong Mike, there's a fair amount of dust lane that's actually in this particular object, and it wasn't brought out both within the large nebula and the tail that appears to the left. It's muted and, in the sense of what I just mentioned, half lost in the HA, which I think is a bit overdone for the region. The three smaller nebulae are a little bit overblown and could have been toned down for balance. But overall, it's a very nice image.
Thank you so much, Mike and Mike. And we'll keep it in the M's. Let's go to Marco. Your score is right in the middle at 88. Could we hear from you, please, as to what direction you might go?
As the other judges commented, it is a remarkable picture. It's a target I particularly like. I also imaged in the past several times. I believe that this is a beautiful process. The stars are very natural. The colors are very well balanced. There is a little bit of yellow on the nebula, on the reflection nebula, on the dusty parts in the bottom, which is often lost. The only things that keep me just a few points away from gold is a little bit crumped on the bottom side, because there is a part of the, I believe it's IC, I don't remember the name, which is a little bit cropped. So that is taking away a little bit of air on the bottom side. Out of that one is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Strongman Mike, for your right of reply.
No, I think some things have been covered there that probably just a slight difference of opinion as opposed to, anything serious. It just spoke to me that the softness, I actually quite like the softness of it. The fact that it wasn't over sharp and it didn't have too many contrasty rivulets in it, and it made it look like soft, faint dust. But yeah, awesome image. Congratulations to the imager.
All righty, your score of 92 is locked in. Everyone else is free to rescore. The image remains at 88, and we had a good chance to talk about it. Next image, please. This is an image taken with two different telescopes remotely, showing the impressive anti-tail of comet 12P Pons Brooks, on June 12, 24. It's taken from Farm Tivoli in Namibia and Farm Hakos in Namibia. ZWO ASI 6200 mm Pro, an ASI Astrograph 12-inch f3.6, and a Takahashi FSQ 106. Looking at 93 minutes. Wait, I beg your pardon. 0.93 minutes. I think I'll try and work that out. It looks like just under an hour of exposure in total. It's just written a little strangely. All right, this image has scored 89. We can't really leave it at 89. I mean, you guys are all decisive and you know what you're doing. So let's call a challenge for this one. Let's take Marco Lorenzi as an elective challenge for this one, and you can champion this and see how you go and see what happens with it. Go for it, please.
Okay, so first of all, particularly point that to me is available in this image is how the brightness of the core, the comets has been very well controlled. I see often that they are oversaturated, a little bit burnt out, and here you can still, is very close to the limit, but is pretty good. Then I would say the framing, and this is usually very difficult when you have a fast-moving subjects to control. It's very nice because you have it's almost on diagonal, so it's a very well positioned. You have just enough space for both tails to stand out. So to me, that is definitely a very good result.
Thank you so much. Strongman Mike, you've given this one a good score of 87.
Yeah, I love comet images, I have to say. It's got an intriguing shape. The beautiful dust tail compared to the ion tail, and then almost completely opposite. Then you've got that green glow. It's a beautiful image. Moving target, that makes it difficult, as Marco said. I think it's a solid image, and I think I've given it a solid score.
You have indeed, sir. Alyssa, you've given it a solid score of 88. Let's hear from you, please.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Marco and Mike said. The framing of it, the difficulty of capturing such an object, the coma, it's just very beautiful. I think the only reason why I didn't take it to gold, it's a moving target, so I know it's really hard. It's just like the stars are slightly misaligned with the filters. I know that's really, really hard. But otherwise, I think it's a really wonderful image.
Marco, plenty of support, plenty of couple of fence sitters there. See what you can do for us.
Well, I will give it this. I think is a very good score. Anyway, maybe we can just try to give 1 point more to give the satisfaction of a gold to the photographer. That's probably would be a good thing.
Thank you, folks. Marco, I've locked your score in at 91. Everyone else is free to rescore this image now. The image has just snuck across the line with the silver tongue of Marco Lorenzi's got it to a gold. Well done, sir.
Great job.
Congratulations to the entrant. It's just when we have images that sit on 89 or 79, there's no right of review. There's no other panel to go to. So it's best if we can sort them out here. Thank you for your diligence and patience there, folks. Next image, please. Taken from SRO Aubrey in California on a Planewave CDK 350 with a ZWO ASI 6200 mm camera, chroma filters in SHO. We are looking at 51.5 hours of total integration time.
So now let's do this.
Straight to gold, 91. Boom. In fact, we have a lot of gold here. We have two leaders in the gold range, Mr. Lorenzi and Mr. Sidonio. Which one of you would like to take this one on?
Marco?
Okay, you own it. It's your challenge, sir.
So I start first. So what I really prize of this image is that this is probably one of the faintest objects which has been discovered not many years ago, and to get this level of the details without going or exaggerating with the denoise, because there's so many other images and they all been heavily denoised. Here you can see that there is design, but there is still a very good control to the level. It's really at the right spot. So to me, it's one of the best images I've ever seen of this subject. Yeah, absolutely my appreciation for this image.
Thank you so much. And Mike Selby, you've given us a very good score of 85. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
I found this to be a very nice image also. It stands out. As Marco said, I mean, this is a very faint object, but I think that the HA is overdone and it tends to take away from the subject, and really rather heavily overdone and over textured as compared to the main object, which was well balanced. All in all, it's a wonderful image.
Thank you so much, Mike. Alyssa, you've gone to gold at 92.
Yeah, I actually had both of those feelings between Marco and Mike. And I think it actually, the more I looked at it, the more I felt like it deserved gold, just because I love the framing, slight diagonal here. And I'm very similar in Mike that like, it's hard for me when there's the H alpha is a bit like pumped up, but for some reason it just kind of gives it a little bit of depth in that how it's like sitting in this space like tornado. It's very intriguing to me. So that's why I went with the gold.
Thank you so much. Well, Marco, you've got plenty of support there, so bring it home, sir.
Thank you. Is it me?
No, it's Marco.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, 91. Okay, I think he's deserved it. I really would like to see this one on the final five. So that is my hope, because to me this is one of those images that really deserve to be discussed once again at the end. That's why I stick with my 94. Okay. And I think it's worth to push this one to the phase 3.
Very quickly, Mike.
I was just going to say, I think the intrigue was the word that was used before, that suits this object, and the very fact that the background contrasts, it makes the person look at it and go, what is this? I want to know more. I want to know what it is. I've never seen anything like it. So I think for public outreach, for astronomy, for example, this is the sort of image that would grab the public's attention.
Fantastic. And Marco, we're locking in your score of 94. Everyone else is free to rescore their image now. And this image is 92. Very solid gold award. Congratulations to the entrant. Well done. Next image, please. Entrant statement, SH2126. The Lacerta Nebula, or Gecko, is a striking dark nebula located in the constellation Lacerta, known for its intricate structures and surrounding H-alpha emission clouds. Photographed from Travinca in Spain on a TS-ONTC-8 200-800 astrograph with a ZWO ASI 2600M camera. We're looking at 47.3 hours of integration time in LRGB with HA. And this has got a gold award. They're coming thick and fast now. Fantastic. Congratulations to the entrant. The judges are almost of one mind here. I say almost. There's just one out, so let's pull on the panel chairperson's hat one more time. We'll call a panel chairperson's challenge, and we'll see exactly where this goes. The highest scorer here is Mike Selby. I'm going to call on you, please, Mike. There won't be a right of reply, though.
Okay, I think this is an excellent image. The HA is done beautifully. It doesn't overpower. This nebula is traditionally a little bit tough to get. It's on the faint side and can appear to be very, very noisy. In this case, it's not. The framing presents this in a very striking fashion, and in my opinion, it definitely deserves gold.
Thank you so much, Mike. Alyssa, you're just out of the gold there at your 87.
Yeah, I see what everyone's saying. It is very gorgeous and the movement is so impactful. I think the only reason why I didn't bring it to gold is sometimes when I see like a pure black sort of background, it feels a little bit like unnatural, like just to bring it up just a tiny bit for me. And that would have been like, that's just my aesthetic, but it's clearly a very amazing capture and just the subtlety of the processing is very nice.
Could I also have some feedback from Lloyd Smith, please?
Yeah, I was going to give you feedback either way. There two things jumped out at me. I do like it. What Mike says, right? My colleagues are spot on. You notice though, I've shot this thing like 10 times trying to get it right, and I still haven't, but this person did. And that may be not a great comparison for you, but hey, it is what it is. Notice that the detail in the dust of the primary DSO on the far lower right corner, as this thing starts to spread out, it is the diversity between the background and the foreground is maintained throughout. And that area to me in the lower right quadrant shows it well. And it also demonstrates a fine, sensitive control of the stars. I would almost say that this orange one in the lower right corner is oversaturated, but it is not. It's handled consistently throughout. Very nice work. Very nice work.
Alrighty, folks. As this is a panel chairs challenge, you are all free to rescore this image. Just one more score to come in. And this image has gone gold at 92 unanimously. Congratulations to the entrant. You've won over all 5 judges. Nice work. Next image, please. The entrance statement is: the rosette blooms like cosmic petals, radiant with rainbow light. Filaments form thorns while starlight gems glisten, weaving romance and grandeur across the endless night. This is photographed at Deep Sky, Chile, on a Moravian G4 1600, a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX3, Astrodon filters, a total integration time of 75 hours of LRGB HA S2 and O3. Wow, my screen's lighting up like crazy here. This is a gold award at 91. We've got some very strong gold awards. The highest in this one is Alyssa. You've given this one 94. So we'll take an elective challenge from you for this one. And that means you get a right of reply afterwards.
All right. So yeah, I love this image. I have not seen the rosette sort of in this manner where it really gives the sense of the blossoming that the astrophotographer is talking about, like it's just shooting up like a flower. And I think the color is just so well balanced and nice, and the contrast of the dust surrounding it. There's just so much to look at, but then you also get a nice sense of direction of where to look to lead into the rosette. Yeah, just very captivating image for me.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Marco, you've given this a good score of 85. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
Okay, so first of all, is I agree, it's a nice picture of the rosette. However, there are a few technical things that actually took me away from the gold. So first, on the lower corner, you can see that there is a kind of light leaking inside the frame. I don't know how to describe it, because it's definitely all the bottom right corner is light, and it doesn't match with the rest. There is no actually part of the actual nebulosity there. So then I believe there is a kind of excess of colors, meaning the central part there is a violet that I don't see anywhere else. So I don't really understand exactly how it's been managed. The palette, it doesn't look like it's it's a kind of wall control. But of course, the image is of great impact, and the framing is also very, very nice.
Thank you so much, Marco. Mike Selby, you've given this exactly the average of 91. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
I think it's a very nice image. It's extremely well framed. I suspect that that sort of heavy blue color at the bottom is actually an added in RGB component, because there's 5 hours of RGB per channel, if I'm not wrong, or maybe even a bit more. I did notice what Marco mentioned in the lower right. I'm not sure it's a light leak, but it does look a bit awkward, and I kind of balanced that out with the fact that the image is just well composed and everything else in it was excellent.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to you, Alyssa. You've got a right of reply.
Yeah, I definitely see what everyone's saying, and I do understand, and I do notice that sort of bit at the bottom. I think it does such a good job of pulling my eye to the top with the movement that I can sort of ignore that just enjoy the diversity and the color separation, and just the overall contrast, I feel like just hits very nicely. And just the vision of the astrophotographer, I really appreciate.
So your score of 94 is locked in. Everyone else is now free to rescore this image, which remains at 91. A very good score and a great opportunity to have a chat about it. Next image, please. We are looking at a deep exposure of Messier 13 with faint integrated flux nebula, taken from Travinca in Spain on a ZWO ASI 2600 camera with a TSONTC 8-inch Newtonian. Astronomic filters, LRGB, 29.25 hours. And this image scores 88, a very, very solid silver award. We have two judges who have scored this into the gold. Would either of you like to challenge this, or are we comfortable with where this is sitting?
I will challenge it.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of interested in also what other people are seeing as well.
It's not compulsory, but thank you.
No, just because I just there's the framing of this is so nice, and like how you have the bright blue and red orange star sort of just framing the whole thing, and having just the way that they handled the stretch with like not oversaturating the stars, but then having that like ghostly dust. I think that's really hard to handle. And so that's why I gave it the gold, is because I feel like that's just difficult to achieve. And I think it's done very well.
Thank you so much. Mike Selby, you've given this a good score of 84. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
I liked the stretch on parts of the image. The IFN showing is a very nice touch. The small galaxy was handled pretty well. The stars are positioned nicely. They're attractive, but there's an awful lot of achromatic distortion in the spikes. And I found that distracting. But what hit me the hardest is I feel that the central area of the glob is blown out. It wasn't handled as it might have been. And that's really what put me where I scored it.
Thank you so much, Mike. Let's keep this one international. Let's get some feedback from Lloyd Smith. You've given this the exact average score of 88.
Yeah, what Mike encapsulated everything I had to say. I would tell you that the bright stars in the foreground, especially, I like the yellow and the blue ones. Those are well handled. They're exemplars of doing that well. The outline galaxies done well. The IFN is great, but the core. I don't mean this double entendre or whatever I'm using here, but the core of a galaxy of this globular is the core. And I think that the 300-second subs across the board, if I read this correctly, leads to the overexposure down deep in the core. I would have shot even 30-second subs in some cases for this.
Fair enough too. Thank you so much. All righty, let's go back to your challenge, Alyssa. You've got a right to reply here.
Yeah, no, I hear what everyone's saying. I think for me, the core feels natural to get a little like bright enough, and maybe it'd feel unnatural if you tried to kind of bring that down. So that one's hard. I totally get it though. I'm also used to seeing sort of those diffraction spikes because I work with web. So it doesn't really bother me. But I definitely understand. I'm not gonna force it too hard because I think you guys have a really good understanding of how to capture these type of objects, but I will stick with my gold.
Thank you so much. You're locked in at 91. The rest of the team is free to rescore. Image went up 1 point to 89. Congratulations to the entrant. We'll go to the next image, and after that, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So let's get through this image next. And the entry statement is my attempt at showing as much HA detail as possible in and around the eyes and M86. This is photographed from Deep Sky West near Santa Fe, New Mexico, on a Moravian C5A 100M, Takahashi TOA 130 chroma filters. And we're looking at a total integration time of, I'll repeat this, 400 hours. I'll just say that one more time, 400 hours of LRGB and HA. And this image has scored 88, a very solid silver award, with 2 judges hovering around gold, Lloyd and Mike. Would either of you like to take this on, or are you happy with that score?
Sure. I wouldn't mind saying a little bit about the image if I could.
Do you want to challenge it or comment?
I can comment, challenge. Yeah, I'll challenge it. Let's challenge it.
Okay, let's challenge it. You're locked in at 91. Go for it.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was this is a classic example of an image where you can look closely at it and see a few little very minor technicalities in the processing. But because of the enormity of what you're actually looking at, for me, it can sometimes that can override if there's a bit of here and a bit there that's not done perfectly. So this, I've never seen this amount of hydrogen alpha in that area around those galaxies. I can look in and see closely around the bluer one on the left there. The tendrils are looking a little bit odd, but they're there. I mean, that's hydrogen alpha. There's a little bit of over sort of crackly sharpening in the middle of the red, but this is a galaxy cluster that we never normally see all this stuff. And so I was just amazed by it as I go around going, is that all really there? So it's very, very deep, i.e. 400 hours. Mm-hmm. So I think it gets kudos from me for that, and that's why I gave it a good score.
Thank you so much. Mike Selby, keeping it amongst the mics. You're at 87.
I thought Mike's comments were interesting. An observation, though. I suspect that most of this HA is not part of this galaxy cluster. Because of the integration time, it's been picked up, but it's much more likely to be within our galaxy in the intermittent field of view. The other problem is it's just really hazy on the right side of the frame.
So let's hear also then from Lloyd. You've popped this into the gold.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on some of my colleagues' comments. That haziness caught my attention too, and I started to think of what is the reason for that, and why would an imager accept it? And I believe because it is. There's certain things you can do, but this is a bright star no matter what you do. This, and I think this is how it looks. I can't say for sure because, like many of you, I've never ever seen a commitment to a piece of space like this over 400 hours. So I'm almost ill prepared, but I will tell you that if you stare long enough, you're going to see some cool things. And with this very bright star, there's almost nothing you can do to tame it. So I give that some grace for the other things that we're seeing in this area that just don't come out without committing all the way like this person has. So I find it fascinating in a lot of different ways. If I could have tamed that contrast, I would have done everything on Earth to try to, and I believe that is the data. and the optics, of course. But this is fine work, and it's illuminating to me. It's different and new.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sidonia, you have a right of reply, and we're going to go to take it now.
Is that a star or is that a galaxy?
I'm not sure. It's the other galaxy. I think
it's a galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's the yeah. And again, if it were a star, I misspoke. This I think it is what it is. That's the other, the what do you call those?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I figured all that hydrogen alpha seemed to be all around the star, but I thought it was a galaxy.
I'm not certain. Also, someone mentioned, was this part of that area? I don't know, and I'm not certain that I care, honestly. It's there with a foreground, background, and it's been dug out.
All good. No, I'm happy with the comments.
Back to Mike for his right of reply.
I'm happy with all the comments.
All righty. Well, let's hold your score of 91, and everyone else is free to rescore. And this image almost made it at 89. Missed it by that much. But a fabulous commitment, tremendous effort by the photographer for 400 hours. And we all had a good chance to chat about it. So well done. We are now going to take a 5-minute break. Thank you so much, team. If you need to go and grab a coffee or a drink, feed the dog, we'll resume in 5 minutes' time.
So we're not live.
We're now not live.
Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty?
And welcome back to the live judging of the remote imaging category, brought to you by our friends at Deep Sky West and our major sponsor, Celestron. And we have the representative of Deep Sky West with us on the panel. Lloyd, thank you for joining us this morning in the United States. Fantastic to see you.
Hey, Andy. Good morning.
Let's go back to the next image, please. We are looking at, let's see now, this is taken from El Source Observatories in Chile on a 24-inch Arcos telescope with chroma LRGB filters and a QHY 600 CCD camera. We are looking at 23.1 hours of data. This image has scored 89. Now, we have a couple of judges in gold, so we shouldn't leave it at 89 without at least having a chat about it. And perhaps we should encourage one of the judges to take on what we call an elective challenge, and let's see where this one ends up. Mike Sidonio, you are the highest scorer at 92.
Okay, cool. I love this image because I love galaxies, so perhaps I'm a little biased. But this particular cluster in Pavo doesn't get imaged that often. This galaxy down the bottom left-hand corner is, I believe, the largest galaxy in the known universe. I think the photographer here has really done a fantastic job of showing it. The blue outside arms and the yellow in the middle. It's a distant cluster of galaxies, so they bring that sort of detail out is fantastic. I love the colors, the beautiful yellow of the galaxies, the elliptical galaxies. So it's showing the science beautifully, and it's really well composed.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've given it a good score of 85. Could we hear from you, please?
Yeah, I love the framing of this and the movement upwards. It feels so satisfying. And I think like from just like seeing it on the screen without zooming in, I think it's a really, really like interesting and engaging image. I think where I lose a little bit is when I look closer in, it feels like it's a bit over smooth, so that the spiral galaxies in particular look a little bit artificial in their structure. But again, from just looking at the whole thing as a composition, it's very compelling to me.
A score very close to the average is 88. That's from Mike Selby. Mike, could you comment on this one, please?
I think the image is very well composed. I also felt that it was over smooth. The core area of 6872 in the bottom left could have used a bit more contrast. And I felt that the blue in the arms was overdone. It's oversaturated. We also have a bit of an overstretch in the top right galaxy, but overall, it's a very, very nice composition, nice image.
Thank you so much. Mike Sidonio, back to you for your right of reply.
Mike, that overstretching, what are you referring to?
If you look at the core area on 6872 on the bottom left,
Yeah.
we're not seeing the dust lanes that are actually there very well. And
oh, no, sorry. I thought you said the top galaxy top right. Did you say?
I said both.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was wondering with the top right one, what you were referring
galaxy
to.
top right is also, in my opinion, somewhat overstretched.
Okay.
Let's keep it through the chair, folks, if you wouldn't mind. Mike Sidonio, your right of reply.
Sure. No, I was just wondering what that was referring to. No, I've said enough. All good.
All righty. This image is currently scoring 89. Mike's on 92, asking for gold. Let's rescore the image. Image remains at 89 with a good solid discussion. Thank you, folks. Let's have the next image, please. The entrance statement: what better way to catch a fly, NGC 1931, than to trap it with a pinwheel cluster, M36, and spider, IC417. Image taken at Deep Sky West on a Moravian C5A 100M Takahashi TOA 130 chroma filters, 20.2 hours of RGB and HA. Image scores 84. Very solid silver award. I think we'll accept that score given the scoring is very close. But we'll take a comment on this one, if that's okay, from Alyssa. Your score is 84.
Yeah, no, I think this is a very dramatic and detailed image. And for that, like, it definitely makes you want to explore it and a little bit more. I think maybe there's too much going on where it's kind of hard to focus on one particular element, with sort of like how everything's kind of sharpened with the same sort of level of, intensity. And so I think like if you just take certain areas to sort of focus on more, then that would give it a little bit more breathing room.
Thanks so much, Alyssa. Let's go to the next image, please. The entrance statement is the spaghetti nebula threads glow like electric veins, blue-green filaments weaving through the dust, a luminous tapestry softly whispering endurance, sorrow, and the beauty of hidden light. Taken at Deep Sky, Chile, and Sichuan in China. This is on the Moravian 16,000 on a Takahashi FSQ 106F EDX3. We have a total integration time of 146 hours and 35 minutes across LRGB, HAS2 and O3 filters. Judges have all of this information at their fingertips and the ability to pixel peep the images. This image has gone straight to gold at 91. Congratulations to the entrant. We have all kinds of interesting scores in the 90s. The highest one is Marco. Marco, we're going to take an elective challenge from you with your 96.
Absolutely. So to me, this is probably the best image I've seen so far. I would say, again, another extremely faint object, so especially in O3. So that is to get this level of details without overdoing it with noise. It's already remarkable to me. Second, I like the framing. I like the palette. I like that there is a kind of commentary global on the bottom left side, which is not something I think I ever seen before. The stars are well controlled, is well colored. So there is really a lot of chromatic variations in the image. I would say, to be honest, it's one of the top images I've ever seen.
Thank you so much. Mr. Selby, you've given this one a good score of solid 86. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
Yes, I agree with much of what Marco said, but what put me off, the blue is just badly oversaturated, in my opinion, and runs up to the right-hand corner where it either could have been neutralized or background extracted. That's basically just straight color. It's not part of the actual background. And that put the image out of balance for me. The rest of it is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've given this a solid 92.
Yeah, I hear what Marco and Mike are saying. I think it's really captivating, attention grabbing. The color separation is just so neat, which I really like. And it's such a supernova remnants is so hard to image that like you kind of forget that how much time went into this. So I think that's amazing. I agree that there's like a little bit of background gradients that maybe it's actually there, maybe it's not, but I think it might be good to just subdue it just a little bit if it's not, going to be called to attention. But I think it's an amazing capture, and I am just constantly just going around in a circle, just looking at the different details.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Marco, back to you for your right of reply, sir.
No, I think actually 91, this should stand a little bit more out comparing the other images we've seen. So I would like to give another round of and then maybe prompt the other judges to see if we can get this one to the phase 3.
Thank you, folks. Marco, we're locking in your score of 96. Everyone else is free to rescore the image. Image has gone up 92. Congratulations to the entrant, and well done, Marco, for the debate. Next image, please. And the entrance statement is Dark Wolf Nebula in Lupus, Barnard 228 in LRGB, taken at Deep Sky, Chile, on an ASA N250 Newtonian Astrograph 3.8 and a ZWO ASI 6200 camera with chroma filters, LRGB 2.2 hours. Image score is 87, almost unanimous. You guys are all of one mind and thinking alike on this one. Well done. I would like to take a comment on this one, please. I think we'll get that from Mike Selby. You are on 87.
This is a nice image. There's almost nothing wrong with it other than the fact the background's too bright and causes a lack of contrast so it doesn't pop. Beyond that, this is really well done.
Thank you so much, Mike. Could we go to the next image, please? And the entrance statement is a naturalistic wide view of Vela, color enhanced using narrowband mapping, HA to red, O3 to blue, and S2 to yellow. Taken in Swan Reach in South Australia with a Player One Zeus M Pro, a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX4, Antlia filters, and the exposures are LRGB, SHO. Total integration time is 200 hours. All right. Every judge has given this a gold. It is currently sitting at 92. I'm going to pull on the chairman's hat again, and I'm going to invite several of you to speak about this image and then give you all the opportunity to rescore it, because sometimes if an image just goes straight to gold, it needs to be talked about. The highest scorer we have here currently is Alyssa. Could you take this one away, please?
Absolutely. So I think the choice to have S2 as yellow, I think really works for me. I think you don't see the Vela Nebula in quite these different colors, and it's both nice color separation without it feeling too separate, if that makes sense. I think the whole thing as a whole is just so well done. The processing is very clean, very tight. And there's a lot going on, and usually stuff like that overwhelms me. But like I feel like since there's a little bit more structure in that Vela part, that the other stuff is just like a nice, yeah, just adds very nicely to the composition. I really love this image.
Thank you so much. Mike Selby has given this a very good score of 90. Can we hear from you, please, sir?
This is an excellent image. It's beautiful. I felt there was a bit too much noise and a little bit of over sharpening, but still a gold. It's beautiful.
Let's also let's call on Lloyd.
Mike, yeah, hey guys. I agree. There's in the heart of the area that was uniquely mapped to yellow. I really like that. There's a level of noise. I think the imager has a lot of flexibility here with the amount of time that's put into it to tweak that to absolute perfection.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now, we've all had a good chance to chat about this one. So I'm going to wipe the board and let you all rescore this one as you see fit. This image is now scored 92. Congratulations on a fabulous image, and 200 hours is a mighty good effort. Well done to the entrant. Next image, please. Taken at SRO Aubrey in California on a Planewave CDK 350 with a ZWO ASI 6200mm camera, chroma filters, total integration time of 49.4 hours in LRGB, HA, and O3. Thank you, team. This image scores 86. Very solid silver award. Judges are all aligned with their scoring and looks like they're pretty comfortable with that. Mike Sidonio, your score is 86. Could we hear from you, please, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the imager here. It's a beautiful image, beautifully rendered. It's got some lovely processing. It's not over sharpened. A little bit of AI deconvolution, but it's nicely done. It still looks very natural. It's an interesting area. This probably just doesn't have enough oomph in terms of the object to get it right up into the gold area, but really fantastic. I love looking at it. It's cool.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike. Could we go to the next image, please? The entrance statement is Vela breathes in luminous ripples, a vast shell cradling embers of shattered stars, layered light drifts like sea foam, guiding travellers, tenderness, awe and courage home. This is taken at Deep Sky, Chile on a Moravian G4 16000, a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX3, and it's a 4-panel mosaic of 109 hours and 10 minutes in total integration time in LRGB HAS2 and O3. This image has gone straight to gold at 90. Congratulations to the entrant. That is a very good, solid score. Let's see now. You're all almost of one mind, but gosh, when so many of you are in gold, I think we should at least talk about it. I'm going to pull on the chairman's hat and make this one a challenge. So the highest scorer is Marco. Could we have you talk to this one, please?
Okay, it's again same subject as I've seen before. I love the level of details and also the processing. To me is extremely well done. It's borderline on the sharpening. It's sometimes feels maybe very, very close to be too much, but it's still under control. I like the balance. The colors is more traditional than before, but excellent job done. Maybe just a tad more center, which is extremely difficult because part of the nebula usually is not really mapped also on the surface. So could have been probably benefiting, but I would say to me is a fantastic image.
Thank you so much. Lloyd, you've scored this one just out of the gold. Could we hear from you, please?
Yeah, there's this particular artist has done really fine detail work around the blue in particular, saturated a little bit hot, but that's okay. What got my attention, and I'm not certain, is what's happening along the upper left corner. There's something just off frame, and what's happening on the lower right bottom where there seems to be a general lack of contrast. Those things caught my attention. I can't say that they're not processing artifacts, but whatever the case, they're distracting enough from an otherwise really well done piece of work.
Thank you so much. Mike Selby, you've also dropped this right on 90.
I pretty much agree with what Lloyd said. It's very nice, but what I was uncomfortable with was actually the framing, in the sense the top left is just glowy with no impact. It's like something sticking into the frame. If it had been framed a little to the left, that would have been gone, and I would have put it into a higher score.
All right, folks, we've had a good chance to chat about this one. So once again, I'm going to wipe the board and get you all to rescore based on the discussion, please. And that's something you don't see every day. That's a whole lot of 90s. Well done, team. Congratulations to the entrant on your gold award. Next image, please. And the entrance statement here, the highlight of this image of NGC 1097 is the dramatic capture of its faint optical jets, delicately revealed alongside its luminous spiral structure. Taken at Obstec El Source in Chile on a Moravian C3 6100 EC Pro and a Planewave CDK 17. Chroma LRGB filters for a total of 67 hours and 5 minutes. This image has scored 89, which is a very solid silver award. But we have an elective challenge, 2 of them, in fact, but we'll take the highest one. Marco, you've given this one 94. Take it away, sir.
I'm surprised the only one in the gold area. Well,
you've got support.
to me-
Mike's with you.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Italians together.
I mean, to me, this is an exceptional image. So, likewise, Mike, I also have a feeling for Galaxy, a special one. To me, this is really, really nice. Maybe the only things that is not making it perfect, it could be a tad bit more sharpened, but still it is extremely natural. It's well centered, the stars, the colors, the balance, the composition. I don't know. I'm definitely a gold, and a comfortably gold, a good gold.
All right. Mr. Selby, you've scored this one at 87.
I think the image is very nicely done. I don't think it needs to be sharpened further, but the central area, including the core, lacks contrast. It's just not brought out. The small galaxy that appears embedded in the top right actually does have a fair amount of detail, but none of it is shown. And the jets, 3 out of the 4 optical jets are shown. There's a 4th one that's very, very faint and very hard to get. They're a bit masking flared, and as a result look a little too solid as opposed to star streams that are kind of up and down. It's an excellent image. It just didn't quite reach gold for me.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've given this a 88, which is a very solid score. Could we hear from you as to where you think your score might end up lying?
Yeah, I think I see what Mike is saying, and I think that's why I didn't give it the gold as well, even though it's like an amazing capture. I know how hard it is. Well, I don't know personally, but I can imagine how hard it is to get those jets showing. I think for me, I mean, the background is also very nice to get just like that level of detail in the background and background galaxies. That's very nice for an optical image. I think for me, the little galaxy is a little distracting. If like that little like it's like the processing of just the galaxy feels a little bit different from the rest of the image, and that can be a great thing. But I think for me, it's a little distracting that there's like this kind of like hard, dark edge around sort of the light parts.
All
But
righty
still,
then. Thank you, Alyssa. Marco, back to you. You've got a right of reply with your 94.
Well, yeah. I mean, I see all the other judges, so I think that's the beauty also of the competition. So to have so slightly different approaches. Again, 89. Come on, guys. One little push, get it 90, so we have a round number.
Thank you, folks. Marco, you're locked in. Everyone else is free to rescore. Oh, he's good, isn't he? He's got his wish.
good.
You got your gold.
Thank you.
This image has scored 90 for the entrant. Congratulations and well done, Marco. Your passion is rewarded. Next image, please. Entrance statement, NGC 5101, a lenticular galaxy with a central bar in the constellation Hydra, taken with my own equipment in Chile, the ASA 600 telescope, a Moravian C1 by 61,000, LRGB chroma filters, 40 hours of exposure and 40 minutes. This image has scored 89. What is it with the 89s, huh? Well, perhaps we should take a moment to determine if this is going to stay at 89. And let's challenge this one then. We've got 2 judges in gold. So Marco, you're the highest. So let's make this an elective challenge and see where this goes.
Yeah, maybe I give a 91, the 91 to talk. Otherwise, it's always me trying to push.
So
We'll score 91.
No, your score is 92, and you've got an elective challenge here.
So I'm talking.
Yes, please.
Okay, so again, I'm a partial to galaxies. So definitely, to me, this is another very fine example of galaxy imaging. Great image. A little bit. The only comments I have, maybe the background is really borderline to be a little bit too dark, but overall, I would say this is a fantastic results. I like the details, softness, and overall, it's a really well done job. And everywhere there was this very faint galaxy, really bringing depth to the full framing. So it's an excellent job to me.
Thank you so much, Marco. Let's hear from Mike Selby. Your score of 85 suggests there's perhaps room for improvement.
I thought this was a very nice image also. I do feel the background is a bit black clipped. The central region, interestingly, shows the bar, but lacks contrast, and there is actually detail and dust lane there. While this galaxy is classed as lenticular, there's been some debate as to whether it's really in transition or it's still spiral. The stars are nice, but I think they're a bit oversaturated color-wise. So that's really what kept me from going gold with this. Otherwise, it's beautifully done.
Now, right on the average score of is Lloyd. You've given this one 88. Lloyd, could you talk to the image, please?
Yeah, I'll make a couple of comments. It's very well done and captured. I would have likely leaned into the HA capture as well. And I think that what have happened that set me off is the HA, the pinks that glow in the outer blue rims. It also ends up spilling out onto some very pink stars. And so I believe that if the artist the imager had actually had true HA to work with, they could have avoided some of those star aberrations.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. Marco, back to you for your right of reply.
I agree. I mean, honestly, it's again, it's a different angles and probably different weight on aspects of the pictures. As I said before, 89 is always a very missing by a notch is always disappointing. So let's try to give another run.
Rescore, please, folks. Marco, you're locked in at 92. You missed that one, I'm sorry. This one remains at 89. Good chance to talk about it and a very good score for the entrant. Congratulations. Could we go to the next image now, please? Entry statement is breathing starlight, the Vela remnant whispers eternity. Filaments dance, colours entwine, silence becomes motion, and cosmic ruins bloom into timeless poetry of the night. Photographed at Deep Sky Chile on a Moravian G4 16000, a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX3, and we have a 2-panel mosaic. This is a total integration time of 54 hours and 30 minutes in LRGB, HAS2 and O3.
Did you fix it?
And the image score is 89. Let's just do it all over again. Let's take this one on. And Lloyd, would you like to champion this one?
Yeah, this is it's a popular area, and we've seen various examples of this. When I compare and contrast the similar images of this type, this one has it lacks that interesting yellow that was done prior, but it's okay. It's well balanced, naturalistic. Again, a little of the blues are sharp. We want to show those. I understand. The HA is well handled and tasteful. So the only really technical things that jump out at me, there's two. There's this star in the upper left. It's just one star, but it's emblematic of some things I've seen with this darkening limb around them. I think it's a processing artifact. And some of the little yellow stars orange stars, I probably would have backed off a little bit. All in all, this is pretty well handled. And I think they've done a good job.
Thank you so much. Alyssa, you've scored this just out of the gold at 88. Could we hear from you, please?
Yeah, no, another spectacular image, amazing detail. It's so hard to judge these. I think the only reason why I didn't put it into gold is just the framing wasn't as effective for me as some of the others in terms of like generating the motion. I get a little stuck in sort of like that dark space that's a little bit like left of center. But otherwise, again, amazing capture, long, patient integration time, beautiful detail.
In support of Lloyd's challenge, Mike Selby's given this one 91. Could we hear from you, please, Mike?
I think this image was really well done. I actually did like the framing, and it really pops. The blue is pretty well balanced. It's a little close to oversaturated, but it's not, and the tonal quality is good. The comment that the S2 kind of doesn't show separately hit me as well. In fact, at first I thought this was an HOO image, but it just doesn't detract from it. The detail is good. It's a very nice image.
Thank you. Back to you, Lloyd, for your right of reply.
Yeah, I appreciate the support on this. I would point out a couple other things too in support of this image. The detail that I see in the blue that's not quite oversaturated, especially in the left where there's kind of an X. That is one of those things that draws my attention away from the dark spot in the middle, which is just part of the image. And maybe framing could have helped, but I still think it was some good artistic choices here.
All righty, folks. Currently, this image is scoring 89. We're locking in Lloyd's score of 91. Let's rescore this one, please. Image remains at 89, but we had a good chance to talk about it. Congratulations. Next image, please. The entrance statement is, I have nothing much to say about this shark, except that it was one that escaped me until I went remote. This is taken at Deep Sky West on a Moravian C3 61000 Pro, a Takahashi FSQ 106, chroma filters. We have shot this in LRGB for 26.5 hours. And this image is unanimously almost scoring 87. Congratulations on a very fine, very solid silver award. I would like to have a comment on this one, please. Alyssa, could you tell us what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool object. It really does. Like some things don't look like what they say they are, and some things obviously do. And I think they do a good job of capturing that and having it stand out against the background. I think what only costs a few points for me is that some of the background looks a little bit speckled. So there's like a little bit of like, I don't know if it's noise that got suppressed that kind of blended together, just like on a closer inspection. But otherwise, really nice contrast in there where the light or dust is popping out.
It's pretty fun pixel peeping, this one, seeing all the little teeny tiny galaxies playing Where's Wally in there as well. Could we go to the next image, please? Thank you, Alyssa, for your feedback. The entrance statement here is, rosette blooms like a rainbow flower. Christmas tree rises in radiant glow, and together they weave romance and wonder, cosmic colors flowing through the endless night's embrace. Photographed at Deep Sky, Chile on a Moravian G4 16000, a Takahashi FSQ 106 EDX3, Astrodon filters, a 2-panel mosaic, a total integration time of 150 hours in LRGB, HA, S2, and O3. Kaboom! This image has gone straight to gold unanimously. Every judge has scored this at gold, which means I'm going to pull on the chairman's hat one last time, or perhaps one last time. We need to talk about the image because your scores are all so similar and you're all in gold. We'll take the highest one to start with, but there won't be right of reply. Alyssa, take it away.
Yeah, so I love sort of this one actually grew on me over time. At first, like the mustard color, I wasn't like so sure of, but it actually like I do love this sort of diversity in the color. I think it brings a vibrancy, and it's also like a symmetry between these two different sort of nebulae and connecting them. And also just the context of like some images that we've seen in the past that kind of fit in this. It's a huge scale and it's done very well and with a lot of effort.
Thank you so much. Mike Sidonio, you've given this one right on the average score of 91.
Yeah, I think the word for this image is wow and impact. I looked at it and went, that's just beautiful, beautiful image. And then when you zoom in around and look at all the little bits, keeps you entertained for hours. I really look for the sharpening, and it looks very natural. The deconvolution looks very natural. It's got a nice glow about it in the various places it should have. I really love the Rosette Nebula, how it's balanced up in the corner there. I don't think I've really seen this region displayed in this way before, so it really captured my imagination. So I appreciate that from the astrophotographer.
Thank you so much, Mike. And Lloyd, let's hear from you, please, sir.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. You remember there's an earlier similar image where we talked about the flower growing, and now we kind of see where it grew from. So the wider context is better. Next thing you know, we want to see the whole sky every time. The imager here has done a good job with this rainbow kind of a palette. And typically I see some green and narrowband and I'm a little turned off when it's actually there. And in this case, it's there and it's well handled. Transitions between the colors is really cool. This will end up on somebody's wall somewhere, like 30 feet long.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. And what we're going to do now is we're going to wipe the board and give you all a chance to rescore this image as you see fit. And this image is still 91, but we had a good chance to talk about it. Well done. And congratulations to the entrant. That is a very pretty image.
Yes.
Next image, please. The entry statement here, NGC 1097 and its mysterious star jets. This data was taken with my own equipment in Chile at Obstec with an ASA 600, a Moravian C1 by 61,000, LRGB chroma filters, and we are looking at 49 hours and 50 minutes of total integration time split between LRGB, all in 300-second subs. And this image has scored, funnily enough, 89. We should talk about this one. We have a very high scoring judge here. Marco, you've given this one 94. You've got support there with a 91, 88, 89 and 88. So take on the challenge, sir.
Yeah, I'm for par condition with with the other image on same object we saw earlier. Again, it's a very intriguing target. It's well center, well processed. This is actually giving also the additional kick on the core, on the details, and so nothing to say. So to me, it's really well done. I would have probably saturated just a little bit less at start, because that is the things. And I kept maybe just a little bit the background higher, but still, to me, it's a great gold.
Thank you so much. Let's go to one of our Galaxy guys. Mike Selby, you've given this one 88. I'll hear from you first, if I may.
I have to be blunt and say I'm reconsidering somewhat upwards. This is a very, very nice image. It was extremely well done. The jets in this version are handled really well. They're realistic. Yeah. Core and central area is excellent. What set me initially at this score is, on zooming in, I feel it's somewhat over-sharpened, a little bit over-processed, and as a result getting harsh and clumpy. But overall, it's still an excellent image. So frankly, I would lean towards upscoring it.
Mike Sidonio, you're on 89. Where are you going to go with this one?
Yeah, I was a bit umming and ahhing with this one. specifically because we already had another image of the same galaxy. So it was hard not to compare, I guess, in a sense. I agree with Mike Selby, actually. I think he's spot on with all these comments he said. When I zoom in, the only reason I didn't probably give it a little bit higher score was because I think the blues are maybe just a little bit too cyan for my understanding of a galaxy. Very minor thing though, but I do agree with Mike. The jets are perfectly in brightness with the galaxy. That's how bright they should be. Can't quite see that third jet over on the left-hand side. It's just coming out there. It is there. So it's quite natural in that respect. It's a very good image.
Thank you so much, Mike. And Mike, let's go back to Marco for your right of reply.
Oh, I get it. So definitely it's a good image, but again, I think these belong to both. 90 again. Let's go for it.
Thank you so much, Marco. Folks, if you could rescore the image, we'll lock in Marco's score now. Oh, you finished with a bang, Marco. You got it to 91. Well done.
Boy, one more than I expected.
Congratulations. Well done, sir. Now, that was the last image in the category. And thank you so much, everyone, for everything that you have done there. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in on the live stream. And I'll hand back to our host, Robyn, now to tell us all what's going to happen next.
Thanks so much, Andy. Yeah, wow, what a delight. I really, really love the passion and the judging panel. Behind the scenes, what you didn't see, the judges were sort of like, no, I want to challenge. No, I want to challenge. I didn't get to try to challenge. Which is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to our judges. You did an incredible job and it was certainly very educational for our viewers. But that does bring to close the online judging, not just for the remote imaging category, but for the 2025 Astrophotography Prize. Thank you so much, judges, for giving your time. Your feedback was amazing. And thank you to our entrants. You certainly have submitted some of the world's best images, without a doubt. And it's been a delight to see all of them judged over the last couple of days. If you didn't make it to the top 25, check out the scores that you've received when they get released shortly, and also the feedback if you got that as well. Some of our judges have put many, many hours into giving extremely high quality feedback. So make sure you check that out, learn from it, and you never know what might happen next time. Thank you to our major sponsor, Celestron. To our category sponsor, Deep Sky West. Shout out to Lloyd. Also to Chroma Technologies, Sidereal, Move, Shoot, Move, Astrobin, and Astrography. Thank you to our online audience for tuning in and joining with us to celebrate. We are going to have the winners of this category and our 3 other categories, as well as the overall winner, announced this Friday during our live awards presentation. So make sure you tune in. And until then, thank you for joining us, and we wish you all the best for clear skies ahead.
God, look at that picture over there. There's the Earth coming up. Wow, is that pretty?